let's talk a little bit about what you can do in a Jupyter notebook. First of all, Jupyter notebooks are a little bit different from your traditional IDE or integrated development environment for scripting. But there are a lot of benefits, and they're integrated with ArcGIS, so it's good to kind of get comfortable using them. And I think they're a better place of entry for people that don't have a lot of experience coding, because you can build in a lot of things to help you figure out what part of the code you're on and what needs to be done. So we already added our notebook here, our test notebook. Another way you can add a notebook is just by right-clicking on your project folder and going to New Notebook if you wanted to add that there. So here we have our development environment, our notebook, and you can see the cell here. It's best practice to really divide up your code so each cell is a different part of your script that you're writing. So to add additional cells, you can click on the plus sign here. If you needed to remove a cell, you could click on the cut tool. If you wanted to copy a code, or if you wanted to run your code, you click on the run there. If you wanted to copy this and maybe just change the print statement, you can do that as well. You also have the ability, if you get things out of order, you can move the selected cell up or down. So that's your run button to run the command within the code. What's I think is nice about Jupyter Notebooks is you have your scripts, your code, but you also have different options for each cell. So one of the ones I use a lot is Markdown. And this changes it from it's basically taking the comments line, it's changing it from part of your code to just a comment. So this is helpful when you're building codes because you can just add in a title like or a short description. And then you can run that cell and you'll see that it's now text. So it's a helpful way to document our code. You can also, we can go in here and edit it, and we could add in some of the number signs or hashtags, whatever you want to call them, and that will change the font for our cell type. So it's changing it from just a regular plain text in a markdown cell to a title. So you can title your scripts. You can click run that. You'll see it changes fonts from like title case to heading 1 or something like that. So all cells are going to start as code. We change them into our sort of text or comments about the cells we're looking at. I mentioned that we want to split up our code so it's easier to troubleshoot, but also easier to run just part of our script at a time. One way you can speed up that coding process as you're getting used to it is if instead of going to new or insert cell above or below or clicking on the plus sign, when you finish a line of script you can hold down shift and then enter, and it'll automatically create a new cell. So you can just keep going. Then shift enter, and you can go on from there. So this can speed things up. So you can run cell by cell. We could also clear all outputs. We could run all, and you'll see it execute the script one at a time. Another nice thing about notebooks, so like if we're just using the Python window in our GIS Pro, we can call or use the auto completion. So with Jupyter Notebooks, we would type in a command like, let's keep it simple, we'll just bring in some of our libraries. So I'm going to type in the command and then the period and then tab. So I click the tab button and it's going to give me options for auto-complete. So there's a lot of things we could bring in. Usually with this command we're just going to bring in the arcgis.gis. To bring in that library. And then we'll go import. And GIS. Import. Let's see what happens when you click tab. So if you click on import, you can see all the things we can import from the ArcGIS. And so we want that GIS one. Anyway, so we could click on that. This is helpful if you make a lot of typing errors. It can also speed some things up. And then you can shift enter and run that. Let me delete that. Just get that. One of the other things I wanted to point out was that these numbers refer to the order that they're run in your Python notebook. And you'll see as the script is running, it'll turn to a little asterisk, and then when it's completed, it'll turn to that number. So we can say, so this cell isn't going to produce an output, but we're going to see it take 3 seconds to run. So we'll go ahead and run that. And you see that little asterisk there. And now we know that it has completed running. So this will be, when we're doing long geoprocessing tools, it'll take several seconds and you'll know that it's successful in a couple ways. Sometimes you'll build in print statements. Sometimes some of the outputs will have, it'll show you the input and the output, or if it failed, you'll get an error warning underneath the cell.